In this video, we'll solve two issues that have stumped woodworkers since the beginning of time: how to stretch a short board longer and how to make a thin board thicker. Let's start with the board stretcher. It is not a myth or a trick you play on the new guy on a job site. Board stretchers do exist. This consists of 2 strips of wood and some 1/4-inch MDF. Here are some drawings so you can make it yourself. This is no joke. This jig will allow you to make a board longer by sacrificing some of its width. Here's how it works. Let's say I have a board that's wider than it needs to be, but shorter than what I require. I put the jig on the board and I mark a line near the center along the angled MDF fence. Then I cut along that line with my tool of choice. This cut probably won't be perfectly straight and smooth, and it needs to be. So I clamp the jig back on the board and I use it as a router edge guide, running my router from left to right to clean up the edge with a straight bit. An upcut spiral bit is ideal for this if you have one. Repeat the process on the other half of the joint as well, so you have 2 nice smooth edges. Now it's time to stretch it. Let's say I need a board that's 5.5 inches wide and 51 inches long, but what I have is a board that's 7 inches wide and just 48 inches long. In fact, after cutting it and cleaning up the edges, I lost another 1/4 inch, making it just 47 3/4 of an inch long. I need to stretch this board 3 1/4 inches to get to 51. So I place the angled ends back together and I slide them against one another. This makes the overall length longer. I can stretch it all the way to 51 inches. But the trade-off is for every inch I gain in length, I lose 7/16 in usable width. It's not a problem because I had some extra width to spare. So I mark the 2 work pieces and I rip away the excess. Then I can glue the 2 angled edges back together. To keep the boards from slipping as they're clamped, you might shoot a fine pin nail near the point of each edge. These nails are too fine to be visible, and they won't hurt your table saw blade if you cut through them later. This solution isn't for every situation, of course. Depending on the grain pattern of your board, your joint may stick out like a sore thumb. This pine board shows the seam, so I might paint it. If my board had all straight grain, the seam might be nearly invisible. Technically, this is called a scarf joint, but it's more fun to say we stretch the board, and it'll get you out of a jam now and then. Now, how about making a board thicker? Let's say you're making a tabletop or some other project where the end of the board will be visible. All you have is 3/4 inch thick stock, and that just looks too thin for the project. You can't always just put a wider edging on because that might look too obvious. You want end grain on the end of the board as it should be. So cut a 45-degree bevel on the end and save the offcut because you're going to rotate it 130 degrees and reattach it to the end of the board. Now your 3/4 inch board looks like it's a full inch thick, and you've got exposed end grain on the end where it's supposed to be. Of course, you'll have to do a little trimming to the underside to square it up, but if you glue several similarly modified boards edge to edge and finish the outer edges with a thin strip of wood, it'll look natural. You've made your 3/4 inch tabletop look like it's a full inch thick. Almost like magic, eh? See you next time. We use blade guards and push sticks and safety glasses and hearing protection to keep us safe because we want to enjoy this craft for many years to come. But what about our lungs? I like Trend's stealth masks because they have silicone bodies that fully seal on my face. This is important to me because a leaky mask is a useless mask. The original Stealth features a compact size, easily adjustable dual straps for a proper fit on your face, a downward-facing exhale valve that won't fog your glasses, and replaceable N100 filters. The Stealth Light looks like an ordinary disposable mask, but it features the same silicone seals, an advanced head strap system, and a downward-facing exhale valve. The 0.3 micron filter is replaceable as well. I switched to Trend Stealth masks for my dusty work a couple years ago because they offer the advanced protection of a larger canister respirator in a less cumbersome size that's comfortable to wear all day long. Check them out at the link below the video.